Why is it every time a woman has standards, men have to come in and shit on it and say our standards must be too high? Maybe you just don't fit the standards. That doesn't necessarily mean my standards are too high. It just means you don't fit them. So that's not my problem. I made a post about not like people liking me that I don't like and vice versa. And there were so many men that commented on there about how like I'm basically asking for too much, or I must be really dating out of my league and looking for a man that makes 6 figures while I'm a single mom of 2 and all this stuff. First of all, people are mean as fuck, which I'm never that mean to people. So I just don't see how other people can be that mean, but that's fine. To each his own. Karma's a bitch.
A woman who has children can have as high standards as much as she wants, but she should never expect a man, especially a man who is a millionaire, to not have standards of his own. Unfortunately for her, dating women who already have children is an act of lowering standards for most men these days, and she has got to learn to acknowledge that instead of being ignorant.
Poor, deluded females.
I got blatantly ignored by someone like 3 days ago that I was like, yeah, I fancy you, you're quite hot. And obviously now that they've completely ignored me, I'm like completely in love with them. I wasn't in love with them at all before. I just thought, yeah, you're good looking, but now I'm so in love. So like the business plan worked and the strategy was top tier, and I'll be here sinking in my sorrows. Ciao.
The fact women are more attracted to men who ignore them and reject them is completely ridiculous.
You poor, deluded fools!
Some people may be curious what dating in New York City is like, so wanted to share this conversation I had with someone on Bumble today. I had sent the message, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? He said, what kind of question is that? So I'm thinking, oh, he's so, that's an easy question for him. He knows what his food item would be. So I responded, oh, so your answer isn't a burrito. Wild. Why would it be that? You look like you live paycheck to paycheck and are drowning in debt. Shit's pathetic. Sorry, that was a little much. So obviously have to hit him with, yeah, I live paycheck to paycheck. My savings are dwindling away, like your pathetic excuse for a hairline. I could have taken the high road, but decided not to. Thank you to my friends for all of the amazing comebacks that they came up with. That was definitely the best one. But people may wonder, why a beautiful lady like myself is single in New York City. This is why. With that being said, if you know of anybody 30 and older that would be interested in dating me, please send them my way. They have to be nice, and they have to have a personality, and they have to be funny. But yes, to the 5'7" guy who was losing his hair, I don't know what about my face makes me look like I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but yeah, thank you so much. Have a good night.
I think this interaction took a turn for the worst when she insinuated that it's wild his answer is not a burrito, like she was insulting him in some way. The fact she had to ask her friends for a comeback because she couldn't think of one for herself is kind of lame. Then she said she's a beautiful single woman in New York City and began to list her requirements a man must meet in order to date her, as if loads of men are fighting to date her regardless.
The girl is deluded.
Real men of genius.